the Stinky Popcorn Boys.
We watch movies and eat popcorn. And you're stinky.
Hello. We are the Stinky Popcorn Boys, just some boys talking about movies and how they made us feel. I am Patrick Basketball, and with grande power comes mucho expectations.
Nice. Nailed it. I'm John Gilardi, and I'm your friendly neighborhood podcaster. Hey.
There we go.
I did it.
There we go.
Yeah, so we're obviously talking about the kind of art house, small-time film, Spider-Man No Way Home. I know we just came from the big hit mainstream movie. Everyone was talking about House of Gucci. It's a little bit of a hard
House of
transition,
Gucci, but
everyone bear with us.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. So we're gonna delve into something that's just really near and dear to me and John. I really apologize if it doesn't have the same sort of like allure as House of Gucci or some of the other stuff that we do, but like we really wanted to explore this story and like just really talk about it.
We want to give it the attention it deserves. So
yeah, because going into the holiday season, you want to give attention. You want to give attention to things that need attention, and this needs attention. Of all the things in the world, this is the one of them that needs attention, I think.
Yeah, I mean you're brave. That's bold of you to put yourself out there with that statement.
Take.
But
we
watched
take.
Spider-Man No Way Home. Not much to summarize, since you all probably know, but Spider-Man. It's a Spider-Man movie. His identity gets out. He's like, oh no, like it's just ruining his life and his loved ones' lives, which is more important to him. And so he wants it to be fixed. He goes to Doctor Strange. He's like, hey, do some stuff for me and do some magic. And it kind of goes not well. And then we have a multiverse kind of schism thing. And everyone who knows Peter Parker is Spider-Man leaks through. And of course, it's kind of a love letter to the last 20 years of Spider-Man movies. And it pulls in the familiar faces that we have seen, which you've seen.
Spoiler alert!
I mean, you see them you see Doc Ock and all that. So,
I think because we were talking about this a little bit before about like spoiler stuff, and like it was funny. Obviously, spoiler alerts. That's what we do here. We fucking, if you haven't seen it, we're gonna talk about it. So you should probably see it. We're not going to talk about like esoteric subjects around or like like to the side of it. That's what it is.
I assume people have seen it though by now if you're here. But
yeah no, I know, but
we're opening the can of worms and there's no going back.
Yeah, there's no going back from here. But that being said, I don't feel like anything. There's nothing to spoil in this movie because like any of the stuff that happens is what I expected to happen based off of like any of the leaks and also them doing the reveals that they did like in the trailer, like of having Doc Ock come and having Jamie Foxx and any of those guys. It's like, it's kind of like that thing that I say where it's like, well, if this is true in the universe, then what else is true?
Yeah. Wait. Yeah, I mean the in terms of spoilers from trailer to then the movie, it's when you see Doc Ock, you're gonna like insinuate or
you're
maybe
like,
expect like,
okay,
so we're gonna see, Tobey Maguire's, and then you see the Lizard or the Sand or Electro, all those. You're like, well, I mean, we're probably gonna see, Andrew Garfield.
See Andrew Garfield too, huh?
Yeah. So it was like a really poorly kept secret, and I don't like. I remember they did the trailer with the Green Goblin's grenade coming through and the laugh and Doc Ock and all this stuff. They didn't need to do that. People are gonna go see the shit out of this movie anyway. So I think it could have been such a fun cinematic surprise if they just kept it, as a true surprise.
Here's a question.
And maybe that was them trying to get ahead of it a little bit because there were spoilers. There's a pretty funny TikTok of someone like edited like Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland at the at an airport security checkpoint together, and and Tobey Maguire's
Yeah.
there too, and he's all serious, and he keeps looking at the paparazzi guy like, "Stop filming me!" And then the other
other
guys don't care. It's so funny.
They're like, "Hey!" But Tobey Maguire is very famously like kind of an asshole.
It's funny.
Like in Hollywood, he's kind of like an old Hollywood dude where he's like, "I'm a star. I've been doing this for a while. You know, kind of get fucked." He's like one of Leo's best friends.
I mean, speaking of old, he looks old. He's getting there.
I mean, he aged well.
Yeah, he's not ugly. Not ugly with that. He's not aging terribly. Like, but he's older, you know. And I think that was a neat thing to pull in. But I to get super ahead of myself, it's like the way they pull them in is so convenient for the sake of fan service, because we get all the villains at the moment of their death. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But then we just get the other Spider-Man, like 2 Spider-Men, just on a Tuesday. You know, like it seems like their life was just normal, and I don't, you know, that there's a disconnect there. On like, essentially, all these villains are coming from 2002 to 2015 or whatever. I don't know, whenever the last Spider-Man of those guys, you know, like they're coming in somewhere in that timeline. But then you just have the Spider-Mans that come from today. And maybe I'm overthinking it, but it's a weird thing. It's a weird, I don't know. And like in terms of like the multiverse, you know, there's probably like a grocery store clerk who knows who he is, or all the people on the train in Spider-Man 2.
But
you know,
he doesn't like give them his card. Like,
yeah. But, either way, there's infinite possibilities. There's a world where there's a hot dog stand guy who just shows up in this new world. He's like, "What the fuck? Where am I?" But so it's super cherry picked for just the fun fan service with the villains and bringing in the 2 other main Spider-Mans. But there is definitely like it's just fan service. Like you can break it down really easily and really quickly, and that's fine. It didn't bother me, but it's just interesting, and I think it left maybe an interesting point where maybe for some reason it pulls people before their death or something. I don't know. The way that spell worked, I don't know. So maybe you got Tobey Maguire, this particular iteration of infinite variations of Tobey Maguire Spider-Man's universe, but that one was about to die, you know, and there's dynamics there. I don't know. It's just a weird motif to set that all these villains were about to die, and that's the moment they come in. And
well,
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if we want to examine that, I hadn't thought about examining that yet, but there's talk about like how. I mean, if you go into the Spider-Man lore or whatever, there's like a web of life, and there's gods that choose who is going to be Spider-Man and who's going to be connected to Spider-Man, and that's like where the whole like multiverse of the Spider-Man, where it's sort of like a mantle that's passed on, and each universe needs a Spider-Man, and so they're infinitely connected to one another. Blah blah blah, stuff like that.
Huh.
But I don't think Marvel is shooting for that. I think. I mean, I'm just thinking, like actively, because I mean, for me, I didn't like. That didn't bother me at all.
It didn't bother me
because it was just kind of like
it's just like a thread I just
No.
went off of. Went
no,
off on.
Let's play with it. Let's go off on them. Because I really think. I think the more interesting thing is it's always funny to me whenever they like introduce a really simple way to like do something for like narrative reasons, like Ned going find Peter Parker, and he finds the 2, like that feels like a little like, hey, this guy doesn't know. Why is he able to do this? Huh? What is this?
Yeah.
You know? But again, it's one of those things where there's so much candy up there that it doesn't necessarily it doesn't, for me, it doesn't necessarily distract and didn't really carry over or carry through, because I really feel like, you know, with this idea that, because Toby's Peter was like, hey, I felt like he needs me.
Yeah.
And I wonder if there's something to that is more of like, because again, as we go forward in the MCU with the multiverse stuff, like there's a really interesting sort of like interconnectedness, and like they're delving into some weird sort of philosophical lanes there, like where Doctor Strange even said that it's like, listen, their fate is to die. Like there's literally nothing you can do to change that. That's just how it happens, and all we can do is protect our timeline going forward. Doing anything to attempt to change the past is going to, like, that's just like,
What gives?
there's a really interesting philosophical question there. That's like,
Well, then they make it totally like there's a total interesting dynamic where he was like, no, I can do this because I am good and whatever, all these different things, right? And so he does do it, and he succeeds, but it's at a cost, you know. And I think it gets rid of that kind of you know, naivete.
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 I don't know. Now I can't say.
Yeah. Wait, naive. Whatever. Just like
naivete.
I just lost it. Like
NAIVETA.
Like it
Oh
makes
God.
it makes them grow up in a really cool way. That's like, you know, yeah, you know, you can have your cake and eat it, or you can have your cake. But I don't know the expressions. You can have this thing you want, but there's gonna come at great cost, and fuck you, you know, because he saved these assholes' lives. These one of infinite variations of these men, but his reality, he lost everything. You know,
Well,
and he lost,
and then
his aunt. You know, at least he can he can try and rebuild his relationships with MJ and Ned and any superhero, and ultimately he's a smart guy with the super abilities, so like he can get himself on his feet, but it's a huge cost, and like I think that's a really cool dynamic if they bring him in and makes him second guess, you know, making this heroic gesture, you know, or something in the face of fate, you know, especially as they get more into the metaverse or multiverse stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and that's if he comes back.
No metaverse, bud. Get that fucking metaverse out of here. Get it out of your brain. Get that stupid commercial.
I hate
Zucking yourself, dude.
that.
Well, and that was the other thing
interjection.
too, just to kind of quickly go back to where you're like, oh, why those Spider-Mans or whatever, or you're sort of like that. It's like, you see at the end, you see other Spider-Man and Spider-Man villains sort of coming through the cracks,
Yeah.
like being called into it. So it's like, these are just the first ones in there, and it's just like, yeah, it feels like, for me, it makes sense because they gave us those hints. And it's like, and then also it's like, yeah, it's fan servicey, but also maybe those are just the ones that are the most closely aligned with this. Like, because again, you can get into some really weird philosophical things where it's like, that's the one that's most closely aligned with this universe because it's, you know, this much closer for these reasons. Like, yes, we already have Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire cast, but also perhaps like, yeah, I mean, you could.
No,
We're
that makes
thought
a lot of sense.
experiment. We're
I mean, that makes a lot of sense.
You
That
know?
they're pretty parallel because it is essentially our world, just different. Spider-Man's different, whatever. Because you have I'd say the biggest, I'd say Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man's pretty contemporary to like our timeline. Andrew Garfield's a little bit more fantastical, and then the Marvel MCU is very fantastical with aliens and high-tech technology. So,
yeah,
but minus that, it's all the same. You know, you got your Coca-Cola, you got your Macy's Day Thanksgiving parades, same car, like, you know what I mean,
so
same
you could
cars
really
and
be
stuff.
like,
Because Infinite Things, there's where Jerry's Bar and Grill on 52nd Street, I don't know, is something else, you know. But I feel like in these three universes, Jerry's Bar and Grill is there, despite there being these other differences, you know. Like, like they're very similar.
So it's like the stuff that's the closest to the DNA of the world that we have gets pulled in first.
Maybe, yeah, and I think that's good headcanon. And maybe probably a lot of it in actuality, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess you can't get into a time travel movie without talking about the fallacies of it, and you can't get into whatever this is without getting the fallacies of it. But I don't know. What was your favorite thing? Oh, wait, quickly before we transition.
Yeah.
I saw this at Alamo, of course. They had Green Goblin.
Hell yeah.
They had Green Goblin themed things and like fun themed milkshakes. Loved it. But there was, they played stuff before, and they did a guy. There's one of the Alamo people, media team, I don't know, did like this whole walkthrough of all the Spider-Man movies and what happened. And when it got to the Tobey Maguire one, whenever they talked about Harry Osborn, his son, they inserted clips of Tom Wiseau. And so they never showed James Franco, but when they would reference him and they would try and correlate a Tommy Wiseau clip to what they were calling back to in the movies. So I thought that was pretty good. That
is pretty good.
That was cheeky. But
that's a cheeky little move right there.
What'd you think? What's your favorite? What made you go yes? That was cool. I was punching the air when I said yes, just to visualize the vibe.
I mean, man, I don't know. I really liked this movie. Like, I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it's like just like for me, it was just an incredibly enjoyable ride. Sorry, I breathed into the mic there because I'm thinking so hard.
I mean, I'll go first, I guess.
You go first, because I mean,
I was
so many good moments
very
for me.
pleasantly surprised with how much I really enjoyed Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man in this. Typically, he wasn't my favorite because I thought he was too cool, and I really didn't like the improv banter of him and Emma Stone. It was very annoying. And so that just kind of muddied my perception of it. And so when we got to see him here, I don't know, it's just different. And also like that he was kind of, I don't know if this is because his movies weren't the best, like obviously the black sheep of the group, or I don't know why, but he definitely felt like the black sheep, I guess. He felt like the underdog of the three. Like he felt like the not cool one.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was intentional or they played into that, but it made him super endearing and super interesting and super easy to root for. And he had so many good moments where, like he said he got to see or hear what happened with him after the second movie, that he wasn't dealing with grief well and he wasn't pulling his punches as much, or when he catches MJ in that moment,
oh man,
it was so good. And I don't know if I'm biased because the people I watched it with said this, but they said like it was like Marvel always has a punchline in it. Was filmed in a weird like comic relief set. Like the shot evoked a Marvel comic relief, and it kind of undercut the moment. And I kind of can't unsee that now. But in the moment, I was in it and I enjoyed it, and I thought that was a really heartfelt moment. Definitely welled up a little bit, and then the comedic bits too, like him calling Tobey Maguire like cool pastor or cool church youth group guy.
Yeah, cool youth pastor.
That was good.
Yeah.
And then when they're like trying to figure out teamwork, and he's like, Spider-Man, I'm Spider-Man 1, you're Spider-Man 2, and they point to him, he's like,
I'm Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, like he's just like, fuck me, I guess. Like, just so good.
Yeah.
It was so good. So yeah, that's my first entry to likes, was I really like Andrew Garfield. Way he was done.
I think I always liked Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker and Spider-Man. Just cause I don't know, for me, I always felt like he had the like sort of like he had the quips and he has like the rhythm down. I really like his rhythm. I liked it in this movie especially given like because that same thing where they're sort of playing him as the middle child, because he very much is like, you've got Tom Holland who's a baby, you've got cool youth pastor Tobey Maguire,
yeah,
but you just got done jerking Andrew Garfield off a bunch, but for me just real quick, is like I didn't get any of that sort of undercut of the MJ moment. It felt good to me.
I mean, me neither.
I liked it,
but after the way it was pointed out by them,
when I go and watch it again, I'll have to check it out. But I really didn't.
Yeah.
I definitely cried. Like, and when I say cry, it wasn't like
welled up.
I definitely welled up. And it was like, oh man, it hit me good. Oh boy.
It was like,
I mean, when the scene when they first showed any scene with Andrew and Toby, and the thing that I think am most pleased about is that they were in the movie.
Yeah.
And not like that they were cameos, and not that they were like, we're going to show up and have like a hero shot, but that they were
characters.
That they were in it.
Yeah.
That they were characters in the movies, and they had thoughts, and they, like, the scene of them fucking around, waiting for the people to show up, so good. I could have watched that for five, maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know?
That was so good. Like, I guess while you bring it up, like, it was just the perfect, like, this is going on too long, but it doesn't matter. I'm living it in it, and I'm here for it. Like, that was like the epitome of I'm here for it, like that stupid quip.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like, fuck yeah, like, this is fun, you know? And all me being bitter about comedy only being in Marvel movies and stuff aside, like, I don't care. I'm happy. This is it. I want it. It was fun.
Well, and I think that's why I was like, I'm glad that Tobey Maguire wasn't a fucking, like, sourpuss. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just glad that he was still fun. Which is, you know, I'm going to have to go back and rewatch those OG Spider-Man movies.
Oh, yeah. I'm definitely
'Cause it's been a minute.
I'm doing a marathon, I think, for sure. And then capping it off with this film. And I think it's such a good, like, Spider-Man means so much to so many people. And, you know, for a lot of people, like, Spider-Man was the entry to superheroes and comics, you know, because as a kid growing up, I didn't want to read comic books. For some reason, that was a high barrier to me. TV shows, Saturday morning cartoons are hard to catch on to, or hard to catch for me. I just didn't, I was outside or whatever. And so, like, big blockbuster movies for me, namely Spider-Man and all this stuff, was like my entry point, and I don't know. Like, and I'm not like a huge comic book geek or a superhero Marvel head, but I am a Marvel. I don't know. I do like this stuff, and I can pull it back to this.
You're a Spider Boy.
Yeah, and it's cool, and I think it's just an awesome love letter also. And I think that's, people can view it as fan service, because it certainly is, but I think another way to look at it too, it can be both, is that it's a love letter, to arguably the one that started it all in terms of being functionally and good. You could maybe say the first X-Men ones were okay, but like when you think of like the first good superhero movies, it's Spider-Man, X-Men maybe, and then Iron Man, and then it really kicked off. So like, it's such a cool callback, it's so unique, it's so special, like it's very fun, and it makes the meshing of the characters and stuff for the Avengers seem like, of course you did that. Like, but this is just so this is so cool, it's so creative, it's so fun, it's so many awesome things. It's the epitome of fan service, of love letter. I don't know, I'm speaking circles now. I just think it was sick.
I don't know. I feel like fan service has such a negative connotation to it, though, because I really don't feel like it's fan service as much as like because fan service to me, the sort of like the negative connotation of it. Fan service to me is like,
I mean, is love
Ray
letter?
Being like, I'm Ray Skywalker.
Yeah,
that's like fan service, where it's like, oh, this, or bringing Lando back, or just Rise of the Skywalker.
Yeah.
But for me, this is more like, hey, here's it's kind of like a beautiful blending of capitalist bullshit and like, hey, we have this opportunity storytelling wise to have like say what you want about the TASM, like the fucking Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. It's like those are still pretty fun movies.
Yeah.
And you know what? People still watch them.
Yeah, I like
and
them.
people still connected with them and like parts of them.
Mm-hmm.
And people loved the fucking OG Spider-Man, and people loved the new Spider-Man. And it's like, all right, we have an opportunity here to take these three things, these two things that people love, and then put it in this one big thing that people love, and we can make it make sense. And then the capitalist people are like, hey, we could also make a ton of money on that too.
They're just like, you know what? It's a
They're
good idea. You get a raise. Here you go.
Yeah. And so it's just like, that's why I don't necessarily think it's fan service, because I think at the end of the day, if it was fan service, it wouldn't do anything to serve Tom Holland's story. And I think this whole movie serves to
What? Yeah.
give him a whole new layer
Yeah.
of
I think like
stuff.
Love Letter is fan service, as we've talked about it.
Yeah.
Is I guess the definition I'm making up right now.
Yeah.
Because I mean, yeah, it's definitely a notch or two above the Star Wars shit with Lando and everything you mentioned. So, yeah. But
Yeah, it's just interesting because I never got the feeling that they were pandering to me. It kind of, it much more feels like they're like, oh, we get to fucking do this? Holy shit, we get to fucking do this. Like, we can do this. And it's like, hey, like, and that's why I think that any of the stuff that's like, hey, why is Electro different? And it's like, hey, I don't know, here's some like sort of like fun reason why, you know? And that's like, yeah, but he gets to be fun now, okay? He's not going to be fucking what he was, and we're not going to nerf Jamie Foxx. We're going to have him be cool, and it's going to be fun, you know?
yeah, like just play the best of him, because him being the nerdy dude wasn't totally working for me. It was fine, but like
Yeah,
when Jamie Foxx is essentially being Jamie Foxx, it's like that's the best version of it.
Yeah, let's do that.
And I this is not a knock or anything, but it's kind of just like a funny thing is how pretty much everyone gets fixed except for Electro just becomes a normal dude. like Sandman and Lizard become normal humans again. Doc Ock and Green Goblin, essentially their mental health is fixed, I guess. I don't know how to just to simplify it. But Electro just becomes a regular dude, and now he's like, fuck. All right.
Yeah.
Take me back, I
He's
guess.
like, all right. I guess I'll get out of here now. I guess I'll go from being like a god to, you know, just hanging out. It's fine, I guess. I'm cool with it.
But I like how they weren't evil. And I mean, they're evil. They're villains. But I don't know. And I also like how they didn't super wet work together. Like at the culmination, the end was primarily just this is where he is, and we have our different goals, you know. And I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
But like when Doc Ock shows up and kind of saves the day, I'm like, I forget, like, where is he at right now? Because he kind of just gets kicked out of the building, and I don't know where he's at. You know, like I don't know if I don't know if he's pissed or whatever, you know. But
they fixed his brain though. Yeah.
I mean, it obviously was clear, but in the bang 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 action and like all the nostalgia,
like,
and crazy shit happening, it's like, wait, what? Where is he? What's going on?
Yeah.
Like, is he trying to help?
Is he chill? Is he chill?
Yeah. But then I think not another, but like this is more not a negative, but something I wish I saw was a few more lived-in glamour shots of the trio. Would have been cool, because I can picture a lot of the banter shots, you know, but that's not cool. You know, that's not iconic. And there is the one where they're all charging in together, but it's a wide shot and there's a lot of shit going on. That shot actually doesn't live at all. You know, it's the one in the trailer where the lizard gets kicked by the Invisible Spider-Man. There's like one where they're posing on.
There's
top
the one
of
where
thing.
they're jumping off.
Yeah.
The one where they're jumping all off and they're like swinging. The three of them swinging together.
Yeah,
that's great stuff. I
but
love that.
Nothing lives, and they're moving so fast that you don't get to like ingrain that image in your brain, I guess. I'll have to watch it again. I will watch it again, and maybe I'm being dumb, but that was a thought.
I would have liked. I would have liked, and I'm sure I kind of would have liked a like a glory shot of Tobey Maguire's suit, of him putting his suit on or something.
Yeah, especially his.
I know that he had
you didn't get to live on his suit.
Yeah,
especially.
Yeah,
and like him being, him being introduced in his everyday, it makes sense. And there was a fun reveal of like, oh, it's underneath, and you got the youth pasture joke. But
yeah,
I don't know.
Well, it's also probably a choice because to me, if we have a bunch of people in Spider-Man suits, it lessens the impact of the Spider-Man suit. So for me, I thought that we were gonna have a moment where he was like, and here I am putting my helmet on. Look at me being a cool guy, doing cool guy stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, there he is being a cool guy doing cool guy stuff.
Well, I think like another cool thing that they established was also like the Spider-Man without the like the face on. So where they just like, obviously you needed it to have them communicate to each other, but I liked it because it just humanized them and like somehow like hammered home that fraternalness between them was them wearing the same outfit but them being different and different. I don't know, like that was cool. I like that because normally, yeah, it'd be cool to see them with the mask on, but I 100% get why they didn't. But I think the impact, there's definitely some like companionship that bled through. But outside of just the technical identification reason. So that was cool.
Well, and then we've got I think another scene, a great scene, was the two guys, the two boys, Toby and Andrew, like when the back cracking scene is what I'm saying, is like, that's fun, that's good. And then like I could see the legitimate like, whenever fucking Andrew sits down in that scene and he's like, this is so much fun. And to me, again, I just feel like they had so much fun making this movie. I think they had so much fun writing it because they were like, hell yeah, let's go. And and then making it too, I feel like more than any movie that I've seen since the first Guardians and Thor Ragnarok, as like I can tell how much like fun they are having making this movie.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think it was cool too, maybe for them to go back, you know, like I know that Andrew was like, because he said that he's like, I love Spider-Man. That's one of my favorite characters. I wish that you guys liked it more and wanted me to do it more. Yeah. Especially as, Tom Holland Spider-Man took off, you know, the concept of, okay, I guess I'm definitely not coming. I don't know. Like, obviously, it was already written off by then, but I think that like, nailed the coffin. But, you know, no, it just meant he could come back in a different way, in a cool way. And now people are calling for a Amazing Spider-Man 3, you know, which I'd be cool to see.
Yeah.
Make it some weird MCU crossover now. And obviously, not.
Because now
yeah, go ahead.
They have the ability to have a Spider-Man in the Sonyverse. With like Venom and stuff.
Yeah, because
they've already had
which Peter Parker that is either, you know.
Yeah. So that they could either go with Andrew Garfield, or they could go or they could cast a whole new Peter Parker.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, so it'd have to be that.
I don't know.
But I think like,
because Toby's not coming back. Toby's like, yeah, I'll come back for this one. I don't know. I just feel like
he felt like the sage old man in this.
He's such an interesting person to me because I don't feel like he's worked that much, but I feel like he's just like,
I'm too busy. Sorry.
But also like, there's part of me that's like, this would be fun. Yeah, I would love to do that. That'd be great. Like, the me who would approach him I feel like I would be surprised by how down he would be, but also I wouldn't be surprised if he was not down.
Yeah, he doesn't work much.
Or he hasn't worked much recently.
Yeah.
At least.
He was a narrator in Boss Baby. And that was
Good for him.
Besides this and Spider-Man's the last thing he's done in almost 6 years. And the Great Gatsby, Brothers, these are films from way back.
Those are films.
Yeah. But yeah, I think one thing I wish, and this kind of ties with your wishing to see Tobey Maguire in the suit, was maybe see him in that suit and live in that and hear the Danny Elfman soundtrack.
Oh yeah.
Because you get a touch of that with the Peter Parker, Doc Ock reuniting moment, but I don't know. Like that's I want just give me that. I want that. Kevin Feige, do that for me.
Well, that's fan service though.
Yeah, but I want that. That's good fan.
Give it to me though.
Yeah,
that's good because you know what? I want it.
Yeah, it's if Star Wars existed so that fan service would look good. Other fan service would look good. I guess.
Because it looks so bad.
It's so dumb.
Oh, man. Well, we got another Marvel movie come and gone. No Mephisto, that was my big take.
It's a meme now.
Here was my big hot take that I was hanging on to. Because there was so much scuttlebutt about it with the fucking WandaVision thing. I was like, all right. This Doctor Strange isn't real Doctor Strange. This is what I should have gone on record with because then I would have looked like a fool. This Doctor Strange isn't Doctor Strange. He's like, Doctor Strange is like fucked up and did some sort of spell and is caught somewhere. And this is a body switcher. This is Mephisto here finally, because that's what it is. That's what my take was. That was wrong.
I could have told you. You were wrong.
Also, that was fucking cool as shit. You could have told me I was wrong
because they already did the bait and switch kind of thing with Nick Cage, Nick Fury, Nick Cage. Oh my God, what the fuck, Nick Fury. So it would have been too similar, I think.
Well, but you can still do something similar. I don't know. There's a couple different ways where you could play it where you don't maybe hold on to it for a little bit.
Yeah. What are you saying?
I mean, clearly I was wrong. But I was going to say the fucking Doctor Strange Spider-Man fight sequence was cool as shit.
Oh yeah. I mean, he beat him, which is cool.
Yeah.
With math, quick maths.
With math.
Yeah.
With brains.
It's like,
that was cool as shit.
Show that to all the kids that STEM education matters. Spider-Man used
I wish
it.
That was the only thing I wish though about that sequence is that they hadn't been like, oh, hypotenuse, like he said a bunch of like fucking math buzzwords as he was like figuring it out, and I was like, come on. I don't know shit about math, but I don't think that doesn't feel right. I don't know.
I don't know. Spider-Man talks to himself, and he's kind of a dork. So, it's fine. I mean, that didn't...
I ain't mad at it. I'm just saying, yeah, I guess he is kind of a dork, so that makes sense.
I love the merchandising play by having him, in a very quick cutscene montage, get green paint on his suit. And he's like, oh, I can't get this paint off. Let me turn it inside out. And now we got inside out Spider-Man suit. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. It was fun. But it was kind of a cool...
But I didn't see that as but again, I didn't see that as a merch opportunity. It totally is. But also, like, I again, that feels, again, going back to, like, that sort of beautiful melding where they were like, all right, here's your sort of things that we want. We want Spider-Man to have, like, I don't know, maybe 4 suits if we can.
Yeah.
We get him in 4 suits. And... then like the writing team has all these parameters with which to work on, and it's like, okay, well, how can we do this cool? Oh, what if we fucking do this? And it's like the inside of his suit, inside of his suit, and they're like, yeah, that's pretty fun. And plus, it means he's a sloppy, goofy guy. We can have a couple scenes of him trying to clean it and him failing, and then like we can do it like that.
Then have a reason for Aunt May or a little Aunt May moment that she cleans it or whatever,
Yeah.
It works.
So,
I get it. It's fun. I just.
I think that's like a perfect example of what this movie is, where it's like the beautiful blend of commercialism and storytelling.
Yeah.
Where, like, if you look at it too hard, you can justify it because you want to justify it. But if you look at it, you could poke holes in it too, because at the end of the day, it's a movie, and that's what movie do. Poke holes.
Yeah. Well, in the same kind of vein is the kind of, maybe not in the same vein, but just a thought I had and I was about to lose it. But
Okay, good.
the technological differences, that was a cool little kind of dumb, easy melding of the worlds, and how like they had the answer to these problems that couldn't be fixed, you know? And it was really cool to see, and this is kind of a hindsight thing that I see with the like clips playing in the background, is the moment that Doc Ock realized he is technologically outmatched when Peter Parker simply pairs his armor, his nanotechnology, to the octopus arms. And I think that wasn't communicated as well. You know, and I think because then you could look in it further and you can see he was like kind of being pouty. Obviously, he lost his power, but he was being pouty, and when Peter took him back to Happy's apartment, they were doing their science experiments, you know, and like maybe he felt like demasculated that he wasn't top of the line like scientist, and there's this kid younger than his Peter, you know, doing all these crazy wonders with his fabricator and all this stuff. So that was a pretty cool little layer there that I liked. You know, I think they touched on some fun things, but like I think their weird shit from their own universe worked really well for the Spider-Mans. But it'd be cool if the more of the villains are like, what, you have this here? Or like maybe some of them feeling insignificant because there's really big super villains in this universe. Like just fun little things there could have been added. Because the super villains are very contemporary, and the situation they were in, like the jokes are contained there. Where the other Spider-Mans would be like, yeah, I've fought a rhino. And the villains have their jokes about like, yeah, I fell in a vat of eels, and the other guy's like, yeah, I fell in a hydro collider.
I fell into a hydro collider.
So there is some there, but
I guess you got to watch where you fall.
Yeah, I just wanted more of it, you know. Especially those guys are great, and I think as my mind's just going a mile a minute, you know, the Lizard, he obviously was the fifth most important, interesting character, but like he didn't have a moment of coming to, like when he gets saved. He's just kind of like, oh, whoa, and he's like transforming back into human. And it's like, and then it cuts away. And you're like, I mean, is he happy? Is he sad? Is he pissed? Like, I don't know, because I know everyone else. You know, it gave me that for everyone else besides him. And all it needed to do was just linger longer or start later into his transformation back, and just, you know, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Minor.
I mean, you just the thing is like you've only got like, and we know from like cutting our stuff where it's like, all right, we got this much budgeted left. We got these cool things to get to. We got to get to them, you know?
Yeah.
You know what this movie did a really good job of, as I'm thinking about it, is, I mean, handling all those characters.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, I mean, there's moments that you sort of like lose that like fall away. But I guess it's like, how much of your emotional budget do you want to spend on the Lizard if we're going to get to Tom Holland's Peter just going ham on fucking Green Goblin?
Oh, yeah. Which I love seeing that.
And it's like, yeah. I mean, I love the almost lost it moment of like someone who's like finally like going all in, and it's like, hey, buddy, we love you. Maybe not now.
Yeah, and I loved everyone looking at him and like the helplessness, you know, and
yeah,
but ultimately Tobey Maguire steps in. It's cool to have like him step in, and there's definitely like a father figure role he takes, but maybe if they had doubled down in that a little bit more, or just one moment of uncle fatherly advice or something, you know, to then hammer it home that next time. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's minor. It's not needed, but just made me think to make that moment more. Obviously, they're connected. They're the same guy, but just, I don't know, just to further that connection a little bit more.
There's an interesting thing there too, because we've got the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man who went too far and is like maybe on the way up as he's like dealing with his own rage and stuff like that, and he's able to get a little moment of reclamation. And then the Toby is much more like, kind of like, not world weary or like beaten the way the Jake Johnson Spider-Man is in Into the Spider-Verse, but he's much more of the like, whew, man, kind of like a middle ground between like old Bruce Wayne, and like a kind of a cool youth pastor where he's like, hey, what's gonna be is what's gonna be, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna keep doing my thing, and here's the information that I have to give to you. As far as like lessons I could teach you.
Yeah, I mean,
but they also.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just saying.
No.
I mean, I forgot in terms of me just simplifying and breaking it down. Like, you know, he's like the brother, or he's like the Tobey Maguire's like the brother. God damn, Tobey Maguire is like the dad uncle, and Andrew Garfield is kind of like the brother, young cool uncle vibe. And there's a cool kind of different varying degrees of fraternity that they're playing with there. That they ultimately satisfied, but naturally I just want to see more. So
yeah, I think that I was like, oh man, I just want to see more, but also I'll take what you give me, you know, because you gave me quite a bit.
Yeah,
and it's like one of those like cake things where it's like, oh man, you gave me quite a bit of cake. I'm very pleased with the amount of cake that you gave me. Of course, I got to take it to food, you know I do.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, you gave me the right amount of cake. This is really good cake. Thank you so much for this cake. I really want more of this cake, but I know that it's gone. So I'm really grateful for this cake that you've given me. And it's like, because you know what? If I have more cake, maybe it's too much cake. But right now, I want more cake. For sure.
I hear you.
But.
You could always use more.
But I was also. I could always do more. I could always. But again, just going back, like they did such a good job managing all of these characters, both the Spider-Mans and the villains. And then, like, I was talking about the emotional budget earlier. It's like they probably spent the bare minimum on all of these characters. And it probably helps having fucking, like, absolute home run hitters come in. Like Alfred Molina, Willem Dafoe, just coming in and swinging and eating up those scenes that they're in.
Yeah.
I
liked how fast that moved and back to back. Like, obviously in the trailer, you saw the goblin grenade on the bridge. But in my brain, I was like, okay, we're living with Doc Ock right now. Cool. You know, I was like ready to sit with that. But then it was like bang, bang, bang. I was like, oh, fuck. Like, that was cool, you know. Like, it was back to back Goblin.
Are we about to
Doc
go
Ock,
again? Are we about to go again, dude?
And then it was back to back with Electro, Sandman, and then the Lizard just kind of like already was in jail. But
yeah, yeah, Lizard kind of got the short end of the stick in this movie.
Yeah, I think it was just an easy like, let's add more, you know, which is cool. Whatever.
Well, because I get you. Here's a guess why. He's a CGI character that they can recreate without having to have Paul Giamatti or Topher Grace or Dane DeHaan.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
So they get to have a CGI character where they can throw him in.
And they only need him on set literally probably a half day and then, let's say full day, and then voice booth, you know?
I think I heard that they didn't shoot any new stuff. Is that they used old footage.
Oh, for him?
Yeah. For him and for Sandman.
Oh, like where he's looking up?
Yeah.
Because there's like one or two shots, and it did feel awkward. So that would explain that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's what, I obviously can't confirm that. I'm not a fucking source or anything, but I saw that a couple of the places, and I was like, huh, that makes sense. That's what I'm gonna go for.
Yeah, that's cool.
But they did a really good job of balancing everybody, and then doing the thing that I love. The thing that I love the most is that they are not villains. Like, yeah, they're bad guys. They're the bad guys in it, but they're not bad, awful people. Their goals just differ, and their ways of going about the goals just differ, and or they're fucked in the head a little bit.
Yeah, and it was in a cool. I mean, the evil Green Goblin is definitely evil, but
Yes.
But
But
it felt fresh because
Ozzy Osbourne. Hold on. What's his name? Norman Osborn. Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah, so what about
But Norman Osborn isn't.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Norman Osborn isn't evil.
No. And I think the whole gray villain thing got overdone, and it's not so much that it got overdone, just people like appreciating it got dumb because people were like, but they're not all that like it's like, yeah, that's just enjoy it, shut up, like it's just like the Thanos had a point, I think is almost a meme of that notion. But I think people got over the fact that villains can be complex. I think Twitter got over that fact. Like, yes, and it's been happening for a while. I don't know.
That's how it works.
That's
how stories happen.
Yeah.
People have goals and they differ. And
maybe Scar was right.
That's
maybe
it.
He had his reasons for.
Hey, you know
what
what?
he did in Lion King.
Hans Gruber in Die Hard, he was kind of right. Also a murderer.
Yep.
If we go, and that's why Batman is so important.
Why is that?
Because he doesn't murder. That's why that's a big thing, because it's like, to me, because that's the line. That's what makes the difference between, like, if you taking chance, taking opportunity away from other people. Yeah, you beat the shit out of them, dress up like a bat, be a crazy guy. But the minute you start doing murders, is you step over that line.
Yeah. What do you think? Like that's a Batman thing, and I'm sure it's a moral pillar of a lot of these superheroes. And like obviously they need the mass market appeal for children and stuff. But it's like I think that's almost kind of lessened with Batman. And now Batman's kind of become an aggressive character of busting out of that in a few of the movies with Ben Affleck, and I'm sure Robert Pattinson's Batman looks pretty gritty and a little bit more aggressive already. So it's like it's almost like that has been so normalized that now Batman's being portrayed in his new instances as just like,
yeah,
I'm sick of it. I'm busting out, and that's kind of an interesting comparison.
I'm done not killing people.
And it's like
all these faceless goons, I'm killing them.
It's like a funny I guess it's ironic in a sense.
Well, I had this thought today as I was finishing Hawkeye, no spoilers, but like I was just thinking about it. It's like they're shooting people with arrows, and it's like they're shooting people with arrows. Like that's not necessarily a non-fatal wound. Like if you're just firing off into the crowd, like
if they're barbed,
I know that
broadheads too. Like
yeah, like whatever that, like what, like you're shooting people. It's not any less like invasive because it's not a gun. I don't know.
I mean, in some ways, potentially worse. Like, I'd say...
In some ways, sure.
Like, at least with a gun, you have a chance. There's a chance of a pass-through. With an arrow, I don't think there is. So there's...
No, I think your body stops it.
Yeah. So,
I was just thinking this...
Welcome to Stinky Popcorn podcast. Stinky Popcorn Boys, we talk about ballistics.
Yeah, there's a stinky popcorn ballistics.
Stinky.
But I was just thinking about this too, as you were talking earlier about, like you're like, oh, Spider-Man is what I got, like because you don't necessarily read comics. I don't necessarily read comics, but like I'm aware of this stuff. I go on a wiki deep dive on some random shit because I love lore. Lore's great, love it.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking about like the reasons why I feel like, and then correct me if I'm wrong, but here are the top 3 superheroes, I think, for everybody. We got Batman, we got Spider-Man, and then probably the X-Men. Like, on a whole, I would say that those 3, and I know the X-Men covers a lot of different people, but the reason that the X-Men is one of them is because it covers so many different people, covers so many things. But Batman, everybody likes... I feel like everybody likes Batman.
Yeah.
Because it's like, this is my ideal. This is like the darkest part of me that I wish that I could, exact vengeance. and all this like stuff. And then like everybody went through puberty. Everybody was a fucking kid at one point, and everybody can put themselves onto Spider-Man and pretend to be Spider-Man. And then the X-Men, there's so many different facets and different powers and stuff that you could like reflect on and be.
That does so, like that just because that just lets people imaginations run wild and it's like there's a relatability on a mass scale. Like, oh, there's mutants among us. Maybe that explains things.
Yeah. Whereas I feel like Superman or Iron Man are so like far removed that they are idols, they're goals, you know? Like, yeah, there's like relatability and they've made Iron Man sort of relatable. But for me, until Robert Downey Jr., when they said that they were doing Iron Man movie first, I was like, okay, that's fucking weird.
It's bold. Well, yeah, Superman's are like always had the conflict of being just too like he's boring and too powerful.
He's just he's just a god, bro. He's OP. He's not even interesting like Goku.
Yeah.
For me, at least Goku is like fun.
Yeah.
Superman's boring as shit.
Be curious to see what it takes to do a good Superman.
No offense, Henry Cavill. I think Henry Cavill was wasted in those Zack Snyder movies.
Yeah.
I've clearly expressed my feelings on Zack Snyder and the way he tells stories, not necessarily the way that he shows them. Great with visuals. Great stuff with visuals. I just don't like the way he tells stories.
Yeah.
And I will go over to his house and watch movies with him in my dreams. Anything.
About that throwback. Wait. I don't know. Some rapid fire things I liked. I already touched on it, but I liked Sandman like having his own goals and not being evil. I mean, not that the rest are evil, but he just truly had a pretty neutral goal. Like, I want to go home, guys. Let's stop fucking around. I've really liked Willem Dafoe's performance. You could tell he just, as the Spider-Man said, he was like having a fucking good time. Like his character's dead. So like, there's no way he thought he would come back, you know, the way maybe Andrew Garfield could have come back somehow. So like, he's playing with this world. He's eating it like candy. And when he turns to, like when the Goblin comes out in Happy's apartment, is so good. And like the raspiness and the tone of Willem Dafoe's voice is so fucking good there. Love that.
I love, just bouncing off of that shot, of that long shot of the Peter Tingle or whatever you want to call it. Long shot
builds so much dread.
Oh my God. That made me so anxious, you know, and it did such a good job. That was a cool shot. I really liked that a lot. I like that sequence. I like that whole sequence.
Was the stupid Captain America shield on Statue of Liberty. It set up a cool. I love them being on the edge of the water for that fight. Like, I loved that. That was such a cool little kind of setting. Very cool. But the fact that's just dumb. That wouldn't happen even in a weird universe where there's aliens and people have gone through shit. Like, I just don't see that happening. Captain America could just get his own monument in DC, or whatever.
Put it in DC.
That took me out of it in a way. I was like, that's
okay.
That's stupid. Like, this is a movie with there's aliens and weird guys in tight suits and stuff. Like, it's all dumb. But that was just dumb to me. And also, like,
I mean, there's
New York, as I mentioned, is usually a character in these movies, and that just like feels disingenuous to like a New York icon, because these movies, like Spider-Man, is a New Yorker, and by virtue.
Oh yeah, baby.
I don't know. It just felt dumb.
There's also an interesting thing that I was thinking about too. It's like when they finish the battle, the battle at the end of Endgame. Like, do they like write it down? Like, how do people know what happened? Because it's not like, it's not like.
Well, it's like, like Navy SEALs go out and write their books and do all that stuff. Like, does like one of the Avengers go out and like they're the one that like like is Ant-Man or Valkyrie the one that gives all the details, and they're all rest are like,
Yeah.
come on, man, that's not cool. Like, what's the
They're
dynamic
like,
there?
bud.
Because
because
none of them are really
it's
super
just like-
materialistic in that sense, you know.
yeah.
I mean, maybe.
Well, and they're also
know.
continuing to work because is it going to be unless like Tony Stark has like a black box and like is constantly filming everything or something like that.
Yeah.
He's the only here's my bet for something like that. I could imagine Tony Stark having like
Tony Slark.
a drone. Tony Slark. I could imagine him having like a drone Iron Man to video everything for like game footage.
Yeah.
Where he's like, all right, guys, here we do this over here. Notice how good I was here.
He's like
Did
all
you
the
see this?
like all the pro athletes who have their own videographer with them now at all
Yeah.
times. Just Tony Stark with
Yeah.
his own little videographer. Yeah, I see it.
I that's the only person that I could imagine. But now he's dead.
Yeah, he's dead as shit.
So let's like I know we're kind of maybe running a little bit long here, whatever, but let's talk about the effects of this movie on the rest of the sweet old MCU, and also like the interesting storytelling thing that they've done for essentially they did like a 5 movie. Hold on, we got Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame, and then 3 Spider-Mans. They did a 6 movie origin story to tell us so that now we have 3 more movies. If we're going to have 3 more movies with Tom Holland Spider-Man, it's completely different. And now we have so much history with this character. It's a very interesting thing. But he is brand new in the world.
But they've also
because
given
nobody
him-
fucking knows who he is.
But at the same time, they've given him that out, you know.
Yeah.
Which it isn't clear if they all forget Peter Parker, right? Not
Not Spider-Man
but they
though.
remember
Spider-Man exists.
So like, I don't know, like Falcon and Winter Soldier. I don't know why I picked them out, but like if they saw Spider-Man, like, "Sup, man? Good to see you. I remember those times we had together. I don't.
yeah.
I've never seen your face though." Or like is that the dynamic there? You know.
I'm just imagining a scene where he's like, yes, hello, it's Spider-Man. I know that this is Spider-Man. Just to remind everyone, I don't know who this person is underneath the mask.
Yeah.
I have. It's like he's shaking his hand. I've never seen your face though.
I mean, that's the thing with magic is it just is. So like,
Yeah.
they don't have to worry about that explanation of stuff.
No, I know, but I'm just like, just thinking about that scene is like, I just imagine Paul Rudd doing it. He'd be like, huh, it's weird. I just know that you're Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Are you a person underneath that? I don't know. It's just funny to me.
But that's the thing is he has an out essentially.
Well, now they have an out because now they have an out of not having to have him in, not having to have him in Avengers level movies.
Yeah.
Until they need him, and that can be an exciting decision for him to make.
Yeah, and I think they're not doing contracts anymore. So it's like you're here if you want to be here. So, and Tom Holland keeps talking about how he wants to buy homes and give them to people who don't have homes and make a family. Like that's like his goals apparently. So who knows? You know where he isn't with that, but
I think he's probably contract negotiating.
he's also young.
I think
too. So like.
He's 25, 26.
So he's like, is this what I
He's
want
probably also-
my life to be?
He's probably also tired of making Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
Like,
It's 6.
I'm sure. I know that he said during Infinity War, he was like, "I'll play Spider-Man for forever." But I imagine now the things that you say when you're 21 and making buku money being Spider-Man, and then like there's like well, hold on, no, I don't actually want to be Spider-Maning when I'm 32. Kill me, please.
just good pacing.
But in a
I think just
Yeah.
keep him in the. But this movie didn't set up actually the multiverse as much as teased it. Like there was nothing learned besides that it existed and that they don't know a lot about it. And so I think that's why it is important that the end credit scene was actually a teaser trailer, which was interesting.
I loved that. Personally.
I didn't not like it, but I didn't expect it, so I didn't get to eat it, like enjoy it and live in it as much, because I was just like, I didn't expect that much content, and I was ready for it to end, I guess. Like I felt like they were giving me so much, so it was a weird. It's not a bad thing, but it was weird.
I did cheat, and in the theater I was like, is there? Because after they showed us the first one, where they set up Venom, in this universe, I looked it up and I was like, how many more post-credit scenes are there? And they were like, the second one is a trailer for Doctor Strange, and I was like, oh fucking shit, oh, hell yeah, that's cool as shit.
Yeah, so I think that'll blend in it more. I'm all for it if they can make it good. Like I'm glad this didn't complicate.
But then
this wasn't very complicated. Like it was very it teased the idea, I guess, which is nice.
Freaking Ant-Man Quantumanium doesn't come out until 2023.
Oh dang. Well, what do we have? We have this.
We've got Doctor Strange, and then we've probably got another TV show or something else. I don't know. What's the slate?
I'm not finding. Well, they're going to start introducing the vampire stuff, so that'll be cool.
Marvel Phase 4 slate.
But I like
Eternals.
So the whole like, I don't know. I feel the whole Venom thing was just a whole roundabout way to just get the symbiote stuff into the MCU. Like, I don't think we're going to see Tom Hardy in the MCU past what we've seen.
No, we're not.
And so that was promising to me in the sense that, like, cool, let's bring him in because we have these Sony movies like Morbius and all these things. Like, maybe that's making them all kind of one and the same because I think Morbius is a Sony movie, but then we're also getting Blade, which is like Marvel vampire stuff. So
yeah,
like I thought that was some kind of coordinated strike, and maybe it is, but like the Venom thing just being an in and out kind of got rid of that hope that it's some kind of coordinated storytelling there. So I don't know. It's just that was a thought.
Yeah, I think that I was pleased. I was glad that they were able to get Tom Hardy out of there. Like, I was disappointed we didn't see him play around, but also, like,
with Danny Rojas
I love Danny Rojas. I love that. But also, like, it would have been. I was like, how are they gonna make this Venom? Because like the Venom storyline is a cool storyline, and how do we get that from this Venom with this Peter Parker? Because I also really like the Venom that Tom Hardy has as sort of like this like chaotic good, just like bull in a china shop,
Yeah.
So I was glad to see that they made that a joke, personally.
Yeah.
I love a good joke. So for the Marvel releases in the Phase 4 or whatever, we've got Eternals, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness. Wait, there's another one that's it's like in February or something.
Morbius?
Is there? Am I making that up? No, Multiverse of Madness is the next one. And then Love and Thunder.
Oh, nice. That'll be fun.
In July.
It's a good
in July. Movie. And then we've got Wakanda Forever. In November of next year. And then we've got The Marvels in 2023 to kick things off in 2023. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, 2023, May 5th. And then closing things off
probably is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Okay. Pretty good.
So that'll probably set up Phase 5, I would say.
Yeah.
Which will probably at that point include Fantastic Four and maybe X-Men.
Yeah. I mean, I think
They've got a little bit of a X-Men problem where they're like, how am I gonna fucking fit these guys in there?
Yeah. They're probably waiting for like a universe reset or something. I don't know.
Something.
Because they're such a big part of these stories that just have been omitted.
Yeah.
But
and then also probably in the middle of that stuff, we've probably got some TV shows.
yeah, just add some depth and color.
Because I know that they've got to introduce the new Marvel lady, Kamala Khan.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
we'll see.
What did you give?
We'll see.
What did you give this joint?
I'm gonna give this 4 out of 5. Pizza times.
Nice. I gave it 4 out of 5. Organic slingshots.
Ooh.
I love how they're like, where does it come out of though?
Where else does it? Where does it come out of anywhere else?
Yeah. But yeah.
It's like, guys.
I like the movie a lot. You know, it wasn't perfect, but it was a damn good time. And
I mean, it's
eye candy.
Eye candy, body candy, emotion candy.
Yes.
What have you been watching?
Long, not too much to add in what I've seen. I saw West Side Story, liked it a lot. Steven Spielberg did justice.
Why did it get made? Why do we need it?
I don't know, but he didn't like. Bless me.
Whoa!
You're welcome. He didn't squander it. It wasn't like
God bless you.
It wasn't like a Lion King remake, as much as like why do we need it? But it's like at least it was done well, so that's cool.
Gotcha. I finished Hawkeye. Just popcorn back and forth. I finished Hawkeye. I've been watching the Beatles Get Back documentary. Kind of saving that for myself. Yeah. It's very good. It's very there's no real story. You're just kind of in the room with them. Like there is a story, obviously, but it's just like it kind of is just like you're hanging out with them in the room.
Just British dudes,
you know,
being British.
Yeah, just hanging out together. Just great stuff.
Love it.
Just having a great time. Just me and my mates. Just me and my best friends. Kicking it around. Kissing each other. Eating sandwiches. Talking about splitting up.
That's what they do best. The Beatles. With the good old Yoko.
Eating sandwiches and splitting up.
Yeah. Splitting sandwiches and eating up. So guys, thank you for listening. Hope you had a good Christmas.
We love you. Have a good fucking Christmas. I love you so much.
And we'll see you next year.
Yeah, get yourself, I don't know, Christmas is come and gone by the time this comes out, I think.
Yep, and New Year's is coming up.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Hey, make some resolutions. Resolve to meet 2 future versions of yourself and beat the shit out of some old dudes.
Sounds like my kind of party.
Hell yeah. Well, as they say in New York, bing bong.